All right, Tesla is literally a meme coin. Yes, I know that if you're a big Elon Musk fanboy, you might be confused. You might think, well, how can that be? I mean, Tesla is God's greatest gift to mankind, right? And by the way, this is literally my third time recording this video because every time I've gone to record it, something insane has happened like the day after. But in this video, I'm going to lay out the case, and it should be a pretty ironclad case, impossible to... Ironclad or ironclad? Should be a pretty open and shut case of why Tesla is completely and totally fucked. So first things first, we all know that Elon Musk is a liar. Now that's become even more clear recently with the latest extremely evil and heinous drops of the 3.5 million Epstein files, where apparently Elon's version of the story where he turned down the pedophile island, actually complete and total bullshit. My guy was begging to go on multiple occasions, one of which was literally Christmas morning.
In 2012, remember, this is the guy who said, I refused it, I could never do that, right? But here in 2012, he says, do you have any parties planned? I've been working to the edge of my sanity this year. I really want to hit the party scene in St. Bart's or elsewhere and let loose.
And then, of course, was his now infamous salute, where it seems like half his fans were like, hell yeah, man, that's based. And the other half just straight up denied the reality in front of their eyes. Which, by the way, I think at this point, we can all stop the bullshit. I think it's very clear now exactly where he stands and what he was doing. But unfortunately, in America, being a neo-Nazi is not exactly enough to drive you out of business. But since Tesla is a global company, we've seen sales numbers get absolutely decimated. And not so coincidentally, especially in countries that are maybe a little more intimately familiar with these new ideas he's got. Now, despite these sales numbers going down, I saw not that long ago that it was reported that the Model Y was still the world's best-selling car. Now, would you like to take a guess at who reported this? It was Elon, and actually, it was only Elon. I mean, if you totally bought into the cult, you're Tesla'd out of your fucking mind. That's all the proof you need. If Elon said it, it's clearly true. And if you check the stats, Tesla's been overtaken when it comes to the manufacturing of EVs by BYD. The Model Y is not the world's favorite car right now. It's actually the Toyota RAV4, which makes sense. It's a pretty decent car. It also doesn't come with any of the baggage that a Tesla does. So long story short, the guy is a liar, and that isn't just bad morally. In a business sense, you cannot, or at least should not, trust someone who is just a blatant liar on the scale that he is lying on. I'm sure by now a lot of people have seen the compilations of all the false promises, to put it lightly.
The car next year will probably be 90% capable of autopilot. Like, so 90% of your miles could be on auto. We're probably only a month away from having autonomous driving, at least for highways and for relatively simple roads. The Model S and Model X at this point can drive autonomously with greater safety than a person right now. We're still on track for being able to go cross country from LA to New York by the end of the year, fully autonomous. But next year, for sure, we'll have over 1 million robo-taxis on the road. I'm extremely confident of achieving full autonomy and releasing it to the Tesla customer base next year.
I mean, look, I think that 6 years after announcing the Roadster and still zero word on it coming out, I think the ship has sailed on, oh, he's just ambitious. Any reasonable person should be able to come to the conclusion now that he is just lying. It's hot air. It's a false promise. He's juicing the stock, you know? A few months ago, popular tech reviewer MKBHD made a lot of headlines because he actually called Tesla to check up on that Roadster that he put a $50,000 deposit on and asked for his money back.
I canceled my Tesla Roadster reservation, the one that I paid for.
The one you paid for?
Yeah. Has it been a decade yet?
No.
Almost 2017, right? So it's been 8 years. You paid a $5,000 payment immediately for the reservation, and then within 10 days, you net $50,000 to Tesla. So
Allegedly.
Tesla has been sitting with my 50 grand for 8 years and hasn't done anything with it, obviously.
How much of that will you get?
I'll get 45K back.
Which, again, I think you got to kind of put this in context. If any other business was asking for people to put down $50,000, I mean, in a lot of places, that is a down payment on a house. That much money down on a car to just get strung along for 6 years now. That probably would spell the end for that business. But when it comes to Tesla, a lot of the investors, fans, and consumers operate a little differently. And in that clip, turns out they didn't really have all that much of a defined process for giving someone their money back for an item that they have not received, are not on track to receive, and in all honesty, will never receive.
And the thing about this, it was kind of crazy. When you call Tesla and you go, hi, I'd like to cancel my Roadster reservation.
This is my favorite part. You have to call?
Well, if you log into your account and you have a reservation, typically, if you don't want to go through with it, there's a cancel button. But with the Roadster, you go to manage your reservation and there is no cancel button. You have to go in and hit manage. And when you hit manage, it goes, here's a phone number, here's an email address. And you call that phone number, and I actually did this for a couple days and just got voicemail, which was great. And I finally got through to someone, and it was somebody in basically vehicle sales, and I asked them if they could cancel my Roadster reservation, and there was a really long pause. And they were like, oh, Roadster? And then they put me on hold, and then they came back, and they were like trying to figure out who to direct the call to. And then they promised, the first person who did it promised that they would get it canceled and get my deposit back, but just to like wait a little while. Mm-hmm. And then I waited like 2 weeks and nothing happened. So I called again this week, and it was the same guy. And he then figured out how to, I get like a message in my Tesla account to put in the details of getting the money back or whatever. Mm-hmm. They're going to mail me a check within like a month or something.
This is the most valuable car company in the world.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
and part of the reason why is because they for 8 years.
Think they got there by giving people their money back? Oh.
And the thing about the Roadster is it was also a way to kind of reinvigorate the increasingly stale lineup from Tesla. And in the 6 years that the Roadster never came out, we got something else instead. Yes, the most durable four-wheeled aluminum trash can that the world has ever seen, the Cybertruck, which is now increasingly becoming known in more car-centric circles as maybe the worst investment of all time as far as purchasing a vehicle.
Okay, I want to talk Cybertruck first. We had a Cybertruck sale for $61,000. Folks, Cybertrucks are knocking on the 50s. I'm just putting it out there.
Other Cybertrucks have reached the 50s.
I'm not saying it's a good deal. I'm not saying you should do it. I'm just saying this is a market report. I am simply reporting the truth. This is a year old, by the way. This is going to be a 35 car in 18 months. I'm not exaggerating.
It's an incredibly capable $35,000 car.
I'm capable of what?
Speed. Irritating.
This is the Hummer H2. It is very striking and sells to a certain person, and then it depreciates like crazy, and it loses its strikingness and its luster and its excitement. I mean, you see these now, and you feel a little sorry for the people driving them, right?
And of course, not that long after it got released, it got recalled.
Tonight, Tesla issuing a recall for nearly all of its U.S. Cybertrucks over an issue drivers have been complaining about for years.
Those aren't even his high beams. Those are his normal lights, dude.
The U.S. Department of Transportation saying the Cybertruck's controller software may cause the front parking lights to be too bright and exceed the maximum light output, adversely affecting the vision of other drivers.
And then it got recalled again.
The Cybertruck was first introduced as a futuristic concept car back in 2019. It hit the road late last year, but a string of safety issues led to 5 recalls in just 1 year. The latest, a problem with the rear view camera.
And then it got recalled yet again.
U.S. regulators are now recalling nearly every Cybertruck on the road. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says more than 46,000 Cybertrucks are included in that recall. The issue is linked to a cosmetic panel that could detach and then cause a road hazard. It is the 8th recall for the Cybertruck since it was first released in 2023.
And another one of the recalls was because a lot of them came with this kind of quirky flaw where sometimes you would push down the accelerator pedal and it would not come back up.
The other recalls, failing windshield wipers, hard to read warning lights, parts literally falling off, and then the issue with the car's accelerator.
This slip up.
A viral video shows the pedal can get stuck to the floor once it's pushed all the way down.
At the end of last year, they announced a couple more new cars, or at least new trims, added to their lineup, which was a super basic version of the Model 3 and I believe the Model Y. These were supposed to be significantly cheaper. They ended up still being in the neighborhood of $40,000. And how did they make it cheaper, you might ask? Well, they removed a lot of really basic features such as a FM radio.
This is the new Tesla Model Y Standard, essentially a decontented Tesla Model Y to make it cheaper. And it is about $5,000 less expensive. Removing the seat control switches, that goes a little bit too far for me. You've got to do that in the software though. And I can show you that menu in there, of course, right there. Thank you very much. You can see it has a glass roof on here. However, inside, they've actually spent money to cover it up. They say this makes it quieter and also improves HVAC performance. I probably would have not gone with that decision. I would have left the glass roof personally. And the biggest issue of them all, no autopilot. You only get adaptive cruise control, or you can spend $8,000 for full self-driving. I think a lot of people just want basic lane centering on the highway.
And then now, just days or I don't know, a week or two ago, it was announced that they're going to stop the production of the Model S and the Model X. They're two higher trim, more luxurious models. Now, Elon's exact words about this was that he was discontinuing them because autonomous cars are the future, which very well may be the case, but that is an industry that he is no longer on the forefront of, with things like Zoox and Waymo now being in business for, at least in the case of Waymo, for years now. It is no longer a given that Tesla is going to have the majority of the market share when it comes to these autonomous cabs. In fact, right now, I can order a Waymo if I really want to, where I live. If I wanted to get a Cybercab, which I fucking definitely would not want, I can't. I couldn't even if I wanted to. In fact, they only just started having their cyber taxis drive around without someone in the front seat babysitting it. Although allegedly that person in that front passenger seat has graduated to now, instead of being in the car with you, being in a separate car behind you to follow you to make sure that everything goes according to plan. Which I shouldn't even have to say is just not as autonomous as the competition. Anytime anyone with any kind of influencer, whatever, makes any of these claims, the classic cope response is, it doesn't matter because Tesla is not even a car company. You know what it really is? It's a robotics company. Only problem is, they've never sold a fucking robot before. Look at this.
Just chilling, ready to help.
This is the future right here.
Hey, Optimus, do you know where I can get a Coke?
Sorry, I don't
Yep.
have real-time info. But
Yep.
I can take you to the kitchen if you want to check for a Coke there.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
That's awesome.
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah, let's go to the kitchen. Do you know what a kitchen is? Do you know where the kitchen is?
Let's go.
Awesome. Let's head to the kitchen.
Awesome, dude. Let's go, man.
Okay, go.
I think we need to give it a bit more room.
Oh yeah, it's the room. It's the not enough space. Nah, that makes sense. Very natural.
It'll be able to walk a lot faster too.
Matter of fact, if you see Elon ever actually talking about like making the pitch about their pivot into robotics, that motherfucker doesn't even sound like he believes what he's saying.
You said recently tens of billions of robots, but that's decades away.
At least 1 decade away.
It's got to be more than that.
even the interviewer is not buying his bullshit.
Fast.
Why do you think that?
I think humanoid robots will be the biggest product ever. The demand will be insatiable.
Yeah. So these you just saw that robot, right? That thing that cannot locate the kitchen, that cannot think and can barely walk. That is going to be the greatest product of all time, the most prosperous product, the most in-demand product of all time. Mind you, if you actually look at the statistics of where the average person in, let's say, America is doing financially, people are having trouble buying cars, people are having trouble buying houses, and do you really think the conditions as they are right now are going to be conducive to people shelling out $30,000 for a humanoid robot? The luxury item of luxury items. Come on, man. Let's be realistic. Like, be honest. Do you actually think in a country with so many people living paycheck to paycheck, so many people struggling to afford to buy a home, people struggling to retire at a reasonable age, and you still think that a bunch of people are gonna shell out $30,000 for a robot that does what? What does it do? Does it do the dishes? Because you know what? We already have something like that. Yeah, it's called a fucking dishwasher. Actually does the dishes all on its own. Like genuinely, what else can you accomplish with that robot? What is it gonna do? Elon also has a habit of deluding himself into basically believing the competition doesn't exist, which it absolutely does. I mean, if we just talk about the robotics alone, you look at a company like Boston Dynamics that has actually created robots, have, I believe, some government contracts, and they've partnered with companies to have these robots actually do real life, real world factory and assembly line work. And then you talk about the cars. I mean, look, I've had plenty of sessions of binging forced auto review videos, looking at all of these actually genuinely unbelievable Chinese electric vehicles that look to have better features than a lot of the Teslas, especially since the more feature complete Teslas are no longer in existence after this next year and are a fraction of the price.
If this car came to America, Tesla would be cooked. This competes against a Model Y. It's electric, but if I don't have time to charge, I can put gas in here and that'll power my generator under the hood to give me over 700 miles of range. You also get air suspension and LiDAR for self-driving. Inside, you get pillows in your headrest, heated and ventilated seats that also massage you. My passenger screen also works super fast. My driver display works super fast. I get 2 wireless charging pads with a fan to cool off my phone, storage space in there, more storage space under here. I get a driving display on my steering wheel, and my head-up display shows me my blind spots. You also get a built-in camera to take pictures, and it can even do it just of the rear passengers. If I push this button, that'll turn on my lights for a better quality photo. And because it has built-in AI, I can just point at something and it knows what I'm talking about. 关闭这个. Tell me this isn't cool.
So now, if the competition is so fierce, and so many people are now just no longer interested in what he's got to sell, then how come Tesla is valued so high? Well, it's simple. It's overhyped.
A price-earnings ratio is essentially what a company's worth divided by how much it actually makes. Gives you a good idea of when you as an investor will get your money back. For most car companies, like for example Ford, a PE ratio might be something like 5 to 10. Pretty much saying, hey, you're not a high-growth company, I'll get my money back in about 5 to 10 years. For a high-growth tech company, which might grow dramatically in the next few years, you can give them a PE ratio as high as 20 to 30. Apple sits at 35. Tesla, last year, made $7 billion in profit, a 52% decrease. Not only are they going down in profit, but this amount isn't that much to begin with. It certainly doesn't qualify them to be up with all these trillion-dollar magnificent companies. And so if we go back to our simple price earnings ratio, what it's worth divided by what it makes, Tesla's still worth $722 billion, and they made $7.13 billion. So if you do the very simple math here, you'll find out that Tesla's PE ratio is not 5 to 10, it's not 20 to 30, it's 101 still. It declined by 50% and it's still astronomically high. What if it was valued like a normal car company or even like a normal tech company? Well, it turns out that math has been done in this article by Fortune. And I updated it for the new numbers, but essentially Tesla's actual valuation, if you ran the numbers normally, would be $84 billion, which means a massive portion of their valuation is just hype. It's just Elon Musk's ability to promise and promise and promise and promise and promise the future.
And that brings me to my last and probably most important point. Elon Musk is kind of stupid. And look, I know I'm just some random dickhead on the internet, and I'm talking about the world's richest man. How could I possibly conclude that he is stupid? Because everyone knows more money equals more smart, right? And I think that that is his real skill. That's the real quote unquote genius, if you want to call it that, is he's got a very high level of skill and ability when it comes to knowing how and when to grift. And you know who might just be a little bit more stupid than Elon? His hardcore fan base. There's this feedback loop that makes Tesla fans feel smarter than they are, because they can parrot whatever his last most infamous talking point was and almost kind of pretend that they also just happen to come to the same conclusion. Because when Elon says some crazy ass shit, people look at him like he just said some crazy ass shit. But when some random fan of his says some crazy ass shit and they get that same response of people looking at them again like they just said some crazy shit, they get to role play as if they are ahead of their time, just like Elon. But in reality, they're just kind of going along with the flow without using any critical thinking skills at all. And you know what? Don't just take my word for it. go to any finance-related YouTube channel, for instance, go to CNBC or Bloomberg, any video that has to do with Tesla, you will see it immediately gets rated by two types of comments. One, hardcore Tesla fan that's just all aboard no matter what he says in the video. And two, bot comments that are spamming some crypto pump and dump scheme, where they'll say something to the effect of, the world's not ready. Quickest way to get rich is to invest in Elon's xylitol coin or whatever the fuck. Some random nonsense bullshit, obvious pump and dump crypto scam. But they'll make sure to mention that Elon's involved in it because they know once you throw his name in there, X amount of people are just ready, willing, and able to just throw money at it. Because if it's got Elon's name on it, it must be the future, right? And you probably have at some point in time subscribed to a YouTube channel that got hacked. It's a now classic scheme where a channel gets hacked and then they change the name of it to something about Tesla. They change their profile picture to the Tesla logo. And the channel just runs a 24/7 live stream that's AI enhanced to make it sound like Elon is promoting some bullshit crypto coin.
I was looking around on YouTube trying to find new ideas for videos or for content, and I stumbled across yet another live stream cryptocurrency scam. Now, if you haven't seen these before, they are just about everywhere here on YouTube, and it's whenever a individual account, a user, or a channel is compromised, whether it's through some phishing scam or malware that they ended up accidentally running or inadvertently using, and then ends up stealing their credentials, their session, their token that authenticates them into YouTube, and then their channel can be compromised. Even with bigger YouTube channels where there's a separate dedicated individual that works as the editor to help manage that channel, they may not be able to delete anything on the channel. They can't remove old videos, but they could change the thumbnails or change the title or description and even change the channel look, their cover image, their banner, their name, their icon, and then they can go live and be something else. Most often, a cryptocurrency scam hosted by Elon Musk.
And again, there's a reason that all of these types of scams only use Elon. They don't use anyone else because he has got a certain gravity around him that again makes it so that anyone who is on board, who is a fan of his, thinks that they can throw money at whatever product or service he is offering, or at this point just pretending to offer, saying he will eventually offer, because they think if Elon's name is on it, it's gonna go to the moon. What does that sound like? Kind of sounds like a meme coin. And that is because Tesla is literally a meme coin. Thanks for watching.
So, I mean, we're trying to get the legalized comedy.